Listen, I want you to picture something real, not a hypothetical. A real American retiree on a quiet spring morning. Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. 7:12 a.m., Henderson, Nevada. Michael Harper, 71 years old, retired public school principal. Married for 43 years before losing his wife to cancer. Michael is sitting at the same kitchen table where he and Linda used to drink coffee every morning before work. The coffee maker hums in the background. The house is silent, too silent. On the refrigerator hangs a faded birthday card Linda wrote in 2018. To my favorite troublemaker. Michael never took it down. He couldn't. Some memories become furniture. Michael did everything right. He paid off his mortgage. He avoided credit card debt. He contributed to retirement accounts. He met with an estate attorney. He updated his will. He kept organized records. He believed his family was protected. Then the phone rang. An attorney handling a family estate matter was calling. The conversation lasted less than 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes changed everything Michael thought he knew. The attorney explained that a retirement account worth $412,870 had been distributed according to a beneficiary form. Not according to the will, not according to family expectations, not according to what everyone assumed would happen, according to a beneficiary form. A form completed years earlier, a form nobody remembered, a form nobody reviewed, a form that legally controlled the account. Michael sat there staring at the wall. The will said one thing, the account said another, the account won. And that is the moment most retirees discover a dangerous truth. The document you believe controls everything often controls far less than you think. Most Americans spend thousands of dollars creating wills. Then they spend 0 minutes reviewing the forms that can legally override them. And when the mistake is discovered, it is usually discovered after a funeral, after emotions are already high, after families are grieving, after it is too late to fix. This is not a paperwork problem. This is a legacy problem. Because when beneficiary designations conflict with estate plans, families don't argue with strangers. They argue with brothers, sisters, children, grandchildren, people they love, people they are supposed to trust. And those fights can last years. This is the Beneficiary Override Trap, and I am one of the few people willing to call it exactly what it is. Welcome back to the archive. I am the retirement insurgent, and today we are exposing the quiet legal mechanism that can completely change where your money goes after you are gone. But before we go 1 inch further, I need you to do something. Smash the like button right now. I am not asking, I am telling. Because in 2026, financial education for retirees is fighting an uphill battle against entertainment, politics, and endless distractions. Every like helps this information reach another retiree who believes a will solves every estate problem. Many don't realize that's only part of the story. Hit that button now, then subscribe, flip the notification bell, join the archive, because what I am about to show you is something most retirees never hear from their banker, never hear from their broker, and often never hear from their attorney until a problem already exists. Now, the legal department would like me to remind you that this is not legal advice. It is not financial advice. This is education. Estate laws vary by state. Rules change. Outcomes depend on individual circumstances. Always consult a qualified estate planning attorney licensed in your state before making decisions. But consider this your survival guide, because the cost of ignorance in estate planning can be measured in dollars, relationships, and years of unnecessary conflict. By the time this video is over, you are going to understand 3 critical things. First, why beneficiary designations frequently override wills. Second, which assets are most vulnerable to this problem. And third, the simple review process that could help your family avoid a very expensive surprise. Now let's get to work. There is one belief sitting at the center of this entire problem, a belief millions of retirees hold, a belief that sounds reasonable, a belief that sounds logical, and unfortunately, a belief that can be dangerously wrong. Here it is. If it's written in my will, that's where my money goes. Most people never question that statement. Why would they? You hire an attorney. You pay thousands of dollars. You sign legal documents. You store them safely. You tell your children where the paperwork is located. You assume the job is finished. But here is where the real problem begins. Many financial assets never look at your will. They never enter probate. They never pass through the process most retirees imagine. Instead, they follow a completely different set of instructions. Instructions that may have been created years ago, sometimes decades ago. And in many cases, those instructions are sitting on beneficiary forms nobody has reviewed since the day the account was opened. Look at the dirty legal trick they use. Retirement accounts, life insurance policies, annuities, payable on death accounts, transfer on death accounts. These assets typically operate under contract law, not probate law. That distinction changes everything, because contracts generally transfer directly according to the named beneficiary. The institution does not ask what your will says first. The institution checks the beneficiary designation. If the beneficiary form conflicts with the will, the conflict can create outcomes families never expected. And that happens more often than most people realize. After studying estate transfer statutes, probate court rulings, and beneficiary disputes across multiple states, one pattern is unmistakable. The families that experience the biggest surprises are usually the families who thought everything was already organized. Let me do the math live so it lands. Susan is 68 years old. She lives in Florida. Susan has 3 major assets: an IRA worth $325,000, a life insurance policy worth $200,000, a savings account worth $95,000. Total assets, $620,000. Years earlier, Susan completed beneficiary forms. Then life changed. Relationships changed. Family circumstances changed. Estate documents changed. But the beneficiary forms never changed. Now look at the dirty math here. Take the IRA, $325,000. Add the life insurance policy, another $200,000. Now add the savings account, another $95,000. Total, $620,000. Susan's will says everything should be divided equally between her 2 children. But the beneficiary forms tell a different story. The IRA follows the beneficiary designation. The life insurance follows the beneficiary designation. The savings account follows the beneficiary designation. The will may only control whatever assets remain inside the probate estate. Potential transfer difference? More than $600,000. One outdated form, one forgotten designation, one completely different outcome. This should make you absolutely furious. Because the mistake is not complicated, the consequences are. Families spend years discussing fairness. Then a forgotten form silently decides who receives the money. And here is the part that should put smoke out of your ears. Many retirees do not even know these forms exist anymore. They completed them decades ago, moved houses, changed jobs, lost spouses, got remarried, updated wills, updated trusts, updated insurance policies. Yet the beneficiary forms remained untouched. Oh, friends, it gets so much worse. Because once we understand how these forms operate, we have to ask a much bigger question. Who built this system? Who designed this? Who decided that a 1-page beneficiary form could potentially override years of estate planning? The answer is not a secret conspiracy. The answer is a legal system built around contracts. Decades ago, lawmakers and financial institutions wanted a faster way to transfer assets. Probate was slow, expensive, administrative. Beneficiary designations offered a shortcut, and in many situations, they work exactly as intended. The problem begins when nobody updates them. The system is designed to follow contracts, not intentions, not family conversations, not assumptions. Contracts. Who benefits? Financial institutions benefit because assets move efficiently. Administrative systems benefit because fewer accounts enter probate. Processing systems benefit because transfers happen faster. And who carries the risk? The retiree who never reviews the paperwork. The surviving family forced to live with the consequences. This should make you absolutely furious. Because nobody sends annual reminders saying, "Are you sure this beneficiary is still correct?" Nobody calls and asks whether your divorce changed things. Nobody checks whether your estate plan still matches your accounts. The responsibility falls entirely on you. Now let me give you the rule of 3. 3 states. 3 completely different realities. Florida. Probate avoidance tools are widely used. Beneficiary designations often play a major role in estate transfers. Families who fail to coordinate documents can still face expensive disputes. Pennsylvania. Strong contract-based beneficiary enforcement creates situations where beneficiary designations frequently carry enormous weight. The paperwork matters a lot. Nevada. Modern estate planning laws provide additional flexibility for families who coordinate trusts, wills, and beneficiary designations correctly. Different state, different legal environment, different outcome. 3 states, 3 completely different realities, the same family mistake, 3 different levels of consequences. Tell me in the comments right now, when was the last time you reviewed every beneficiary designation attached to your accounts? Not your will, not your trust, the beneficiary forms. Comment yes if you reviewed them recently. Comment no if you honestly have no idea what is currently listed. I read every comment. Your experience may help another retiree avoid making the same mistake. Now pause this video, pull out your phone, send this to one friend, neighbor, sibling, or family member who believes their will handles everything. Not tomorrow, today. You are not sharing a video, you are sharing a warning, and the warning could save a family from years of conflict. Save this video right now. This is your survival manual. Because once a family discovers a beneficiary problem after death, their options become dramatically limited. The best strategy is prevention, not repair. Now let's get to the strategy, the actual playbook. Strategy number 1, the annual beneficiary audit. Once every year, request beneficiary information for every account you own, every IRA, every 401k, every life insurance policy, every payable on death account, every transfer on death account. Review the names, review the percentages, review the contingent beneficiaries. The goal is simple. Verify that your paperwork still reflects your intentions. Strategy number 2, estate coordination review. Most retirees review their will separately, their trust separately, their accounts separately. That creates blind spots. Instead, place every document side by side. Compare them. Look for contradictions. Look for mismatched names. Look for outdated instructions. Alignment prevents surprises. Strategy number 3, trigger event updates. Certain life events should automatically trigger a beneficiary review. Marriage, divorce, death of a spouse, birth of grandchildren, major inheritance, retirement. Any major family change should trigger a paperwork review. Think of your estate plan like an orchestra. Your will is one instrument. Your trust is another. Your beneficiary forms are another. When every instrument follows the same sheet music, the result is harmony. When they play different songs, the result is chaos. After studying estate disputes and beneficiary conflicts across multiple jurisdictions, one lesson appears again and again. The families who avoid problems are rarely the families with the most money. They are the families who review their documents consistently. Planning beats guessing, every single time. And next, I want to show you exactly what happens when two families with identical assets make completely different planning decisions. Let me show you two families, same city, same assets, same retirement, same intentions, two completely different outcomes. Watch what happens. Michael Harper, 71 years old, retired principal, Nevada. Total estate value, $850,000. A $450,000 IRA, a $250,000 life insurance policy, a $150,000 savings account. Michael wants everything divided equally between his two children. Simple, fair, exactly what most parents would want. Now let us look at Type A. No planning, no beneficiary review, no annual audit. Michael updates his will in 2026, but he never reviews the beneficiary forms attached to his accounts. Unknown to him, an outdated beneficiary designation remains on file. Years later, Michael dies. The IRA follows the beneficiary designation. The life insurance follows the beneficiary designation. The savings account follows the beneficiary designation. The will says one thing, the accounts say another. The accounts win. One child receives nearly everything. The other child receives only a small portion of probate assets. Confusion turns into arguments. Arguments turn into attorneys. Attorneys turn into invoices. The family spends tens of thousands of dollars fighting over money Michael never intended to divide that way. Relationships fracture. Trust disappears. The inheritance becomes a courtroom battle. Now let us look at Type B, the insurgent plan. Same Michael, same assets, same family, same wishes. But 3 years earlier, Michael performed a complete beneficiary audit. Every account, every beneficiary, every percentage, every document, everything aligned. The will matched the accounts. The accounts matched the estate plan. Nothing conflicted. When Michael passes away, the transfer process is straightforward. The institutions review the paperwork. Everything matches. The assets move according to Michael's intentions. No confusion, no lawsuits, no family war, no expensive legal cleanup operation. His children receive exactly what he intended. The family focuses on healing instead of fighting. The difference? A few hours of planning, a few document reviews, and a willingness to verify rather than assume. Same family, same retirement, same assets, different paperwork, completely different outcome. That is the entire game. The families that preserve wealth are not always the families with the most money. Here is what you are going to do tonight. Not next week, not after your next vacation, not after the holidays. Tonight. Because the beneficiary override trap does not care about your schedule. And once a transfer occurs, fixing the mistake becomes dramatically harder. Step 1. Make a complete list of every financial account you own. Checking accounts, savings accounts, money market accounts, CDs, brokerage accounts, IRAs, Roth IRAs, 401ks, life insurance policies. Write down every institution holding your money. Most retirees are surprised by how many accounts they actually have. Step 2. Contact each institution and request confirmation of every beneficiary currently on file. Do not assume, verify. You want names, percentages, primary beneficiaries, contingent beneficiaries, everything. Step 3. Pull out your will and trust documents. Compare them against the beneficiary designations, line by line, name by name, percentage by percentage. Look for contradictions. Look for outdated information. Look for anything that no longer reflects your wishes. Step 4. If you find a mismatch, fix it immediately. Not tomorrow, today. Most institutions allow you to update beneficiary forms quickly and at little or no cost. The difficult part is not making the change. The difficult part is discovering the mistake before it becomes permanent. The clock starts when life changes. Marriage, divorce, death of a spouse, birth of a grandchild, retirement. Every major life event creates the possibility that your paperwork no longer matches your intentions. That is why reviews matter. Tell me in the comments which step you are starting first, and tell me your state. The archive grows stronger every time retirees share information with each other. And before you leave this video, send it to one person who believes having a will means everything is already handled. Not tomorrow, today. One conversation now could prevent years of confusion later. Let me leave you with one final thought. Most retirees spend years worrying about taxes. They worry about market crashes. They worry about inflation. They worry about healthcare costs. And those concerns matter. But sometimes the biggest threat to your legacy is not a market event. It is a form, a simple beneficiary form, a form completed years ago, a form forgotten, a form that continues operating quietly in the background while you assume your will is handling everything. You can be the retiree who assumes, or you can be the retiree who verifies. You can be the person who leaves confusion behind, or you can be the person who leaves clarity. You can be the person whose family spends years arguing, or the person whose family spends those years remembering you instead. The choice is yours. And the good news is that fixing this problem does not require a complicated strategy. It does not require a financial miracle. It requires attention. It requires a review. It requires action before the action becomes impossible. If this video opened your eyes to something you did not know, smash that like button one more time on your way out. Help us push this information to the next retiree who still believes a will controls every asset they own. And if you are not subscribed yet, subscribe right now. Turn on all notifications. Join the archive, because in our next video, we are exposing another estate planning mistake that catches thousands of families by surprise every year, the inherited IRA trap, and why many beneficiaries accidentally trigger unnecessary taxes after inheriting retirement accounts. You do not want to miss that one. Until next time, stay informed, stay protected, stay one step ahead of the system. I am the retirement insurgent. This was the archive. The trap was built for the retiree who does not know it exists. Now you know. Act accordingly.